What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my Horizon League Conference Tournament Predictions video, the fourth one here that we've done. So, let's get into this here. Starting out here with the standings, taking a look at each of these teams. The number one seed is Oakland in this conference. Good Oakland team at 15-5 in conference play. 2, we have Youngstown State finishing 14-6 in conference play. Then the number 3 seed we have in Green Bay. They finished 13-7 in conference play, tied with the 4 seed Wright State finishing 13-7 in conference play. Then the 5 seed is Northern Kentucky, finishing 12-8 in conference play, tied with the 6 seed Milwaukee, both finishing 12-8 in conference play. That's critical how Northern Kentucky got the tiebreaker over Milwaukee, because now they get the bye. But anyway, number 7, we have Cleveland State finishing 11-9 in conference play, tied up with Purdue-Fort Wayne, finishing 11-9 in conference play. So you have to go all the way down to the 8 seeds. All of those teams are above 500 in conference play. So that just shows that this conference is wide open. Then we get to some teams that very much struggled. Number 9 seed, we have Robert Morris finishing 6-14 in conference play. 10 seed is Iowa University, Purdue University. If you guys know why that's like a mix of the two universities, I'm interested to know. But they finish at 2-18 in conference play, then finishing it off the 11 seed Detroit Mercy, who only has 1 seat win, not only in conference play, but in the entire year, finishing 1-19 in conference play, 1-30 overall. All right, but let's get into this bracket, and this is going to be a reseeding tournament like some of the others we've seen. So Oakland will play the lowest seed, and then Green Bay will play the highest seed, and Youngstown State plays the middle. So let's get into this predictions here, though, starting out with Milwaukee versus Detroit Mercy. And I'm honestly not going to go with too much in-depth analysis here. I am going to go with Milwaukee. They're just the better team overall. I mean, Milwaukee just barely misses out of becoming a 4 or 5 seed and playing Wright State in the first round. Unfortunately, can't do that. So we're going to have Milwaukee right there as in the win over Detroit Mercy. Then Cleveland State versus IUPUI. I do have Cleveland State again, just the better team, so we can move them on to play Youngstown State. Finishing it off with Purdue-Fort Wayne versus Robert Morris. Robert Morris is on a 6-game losing skid. Purdue-Fort Wayne's a good team, so I do have Purdue-Fort Wayne winning that one. So all chalk in the first round, but let's move on to this second round, and it is reseeding for the second round. So let's get into this. Starting out with the first matchup, Oakland, Purdue-Fort Wayne. Interesting game. Oakland's a good team. Don't get me wrong. But Purdue-Fort Wayne could come up in this one and pull off the upset. They finished 20-11 overall. That's the same record as Oakland. So, honestly, why not have some fun here? Let's go with Purdue-Fort Wayne in the upset here, pulling off the win over Oakland. The 1 seed loses here. I want to take a look at here. Oakland's a good team, but this season haven't played Purdue-Fort Wayne in a while. Or did they played them back in December. And Purdue-Fort Wayne won by 21 points. So that gives me even more reason to go with Purdue-Fort Wayne here. I think they can pull off this win. I think Oakland is not your typical number 1 seed in conference play like we've seen from the other conferences. So give me Purdue-Fort Wayne in the win, coming off a first game that I've said a lot of times. I kind of like the advantage of playing the first game to move on. So give me 8-seeded Purdue-Fort Wayne upsetting Oakland And then we move on to Youngstown State versus Cleveland State. Another good game, man. Youngstown State, I believe, made the tournament last year. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Cleveland State's a good program. They won this conference a couple years ago. Played Houston in the first round. I remember that one. But I do think I'm going to go with Youngstown State. So they would play Purdue Fort Wayne since they're the top seeds right there. So give me Youngstown State in the win to beat Cleveland State. All right, Green Bay versus Milwaukee, another good matchup here. 13-7 Green Bay versus 12-8 Milwaukee. Milwaukee's coming off the first 4 games. These two just met on Saturday. Milwaukee won by 21 over Green Bay. So Green Bay would have to respond from that tough of a loss. I'm looking if they played earlier this year. They did, and Green Bay won by 22 back in December. So it's been lopsided each time these two have played. Green Bay's a team that honestly has not looked great in the month of February. So I'm honestly going to go with Milwaukee in the 6-3 upset. Milwaukee gets a cakewalk, honestly, against Detroit Mercy. Why not go with another win here with Milwaukee beating Green Bay to move on to the next round? So next we have Wright State versus Northern Kentucky. 4-seeded team versus a 5-seed here. Great matchup. These two just met where Wright State won it by 6. Northern Kentucky. Yeah, Wright State won it. Wright State's beat them both times they've played this year. That's tough to beat a team 2 times in a row or 3 times in 1 year. On a neutral site, I think I'm going to go with Northern Kentucky to make the adjustments, get the win, the 5-seed upset to move on. So we do have an interesting 4 teams. There was only one of the top seeds with the bye moving on in Youngstown State. But we have Youngstown State versus Purdue Fort Wayne for a spot in the championship game. And this is an interesting one. I do think I'm going to go with Youngstown State. Purdue Fort Wayne had a good run. They're a good team, winning 2 straight, but I do believe in that Youngstown State team to pull off the win, where they will meet. Great matchup between Northern Kentucky and Milwaukee. Milwaukee just won it by a point in February. They played earlier, and Northern Kentucky won them by 18 on their home turf. So it's a big game. I am going to go with Northern Kentucky as well, though. The 5-seed beating the 6-seed, though. I think Milwaukee, they have a slight advantage in this one. Playing a Wright State team and only 1 game. Milwaukee's played 2 games to this point. I think that could come into effect here. I think this one could go neck and neck, though. So I'm going to go with Northern Kentucky, though. So for the championship, we have Youngstown State versus Northern Kentucky. Let's take a look at this one. Northern Kentucky won by 3 earlier this year when they were at home. And then Youngstown State won by 30 on the 28th of January. So these two haven't met in a while. Didn't mean to push that, but I do think I will go with Youngstown State. I'm going to give the Youngstown State the win. I believe this would be back-to-back conference championships for them. Again, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but Youngstown State, it wins it and goes to the tournament. All right, fun little Horizon League tournament here. I liked this one a lot. This conference, honestly, is wide open. I could see even an 8-seed in Purdue Fort Wayne and all the teams above going on a run to win it. But I am going to go with Youngstown State, the 2-seed, to get the job done. All right, anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your Horizon League tournament predictions. Anyway, guys, peace out.